You guys go ahead. I'm sure you've seen this already. Or?
No.
Okay, well then I'll share it with you. Okay. Puka and Jonah will be full today. Rob will be limited. Kobe Durant will be full. And then we are going to put Darius Williams on temporary IR. He retweaked his hamstring. You go back and you look at it. I mean, he's such a stud. He's done a great job getting himself back ready to go. But when you look at some of the things off the MRI, I think the best thing for him is ultimately to be able to give him some time to get himself ready to roll. And we'll be a better football team when we get him back. But he's handled it really well. He wanted to do everything in his power to get ready to go. But wasn't the case, and we'll still have a lot of opportunities to make big-time contributions to this team.
You sounded relatively optimistic about him on Wednesday after the walkthrough.
Yeah.
When did you guys sort of...
Felt some, it's really like the inability to really truly open up when you're a fast twitch athlete. Then you look at it and you're kind of feeling it. And sometimes you're saying, all right, am I breaking up scar tissue or is there still something there? And the MRI revealed that there was still something there. There'll be some different treatments that, Reggie and his group will take, and move forward, and felt like giving him that month of time was important, and not put an unnecessary deadline on getting him back, because he wanted to be back, but I think giving him those 4 weeks is the right thing for him and, for everybody.
Do you anticipate him being ready after 4 weeks?
Here's what I would say. That's the hope, Sarah. But again, I wouldn't have anticipated, us to be having this conversation based on where we were at. And so the MRI revealed some different things, that he had a real legitimate hamstring injury, and to a fast twitch athlete, it's something that you want to be really smart with. But that is the hope and anticipation, is that he would be back week 5. So fortunately, that clock can start, for this game.
Do you expect to explore adding anyone to the roster?
There's a possibility of that, Gary. That hasn't. We've got some guys that have gotten opportunities in his absence, and really in Kobe's absence, even though we expect him to be back and ready to go. So maybe down the road, but that's not something that's been imminent for us right now.
So do you anticipate the loud noise bothering some of the defensive players, the young defensive players?
Well, here's the good thing. I think it'll be quiet when the defense is out there, and it'll be really loud when the offense is out there. So I think it's going to be really important for our defense to have great verbal communication, and our offense to have great nonverbal communication. It was an unbelievable atmosphere. It's a real credit to Detroit's fans, and expect nothing less, especially on opening game. But our communication, verbally and non-verbally, will be key and critical, but it'll especially be with the non-verbal for our offensive guys.
Will you expect Rob?
We'll see how today goes.
What are the pluses and minuses of, taking every day you can, I guess, knowing that you have Warren backing
Sure.
up, but then also assessing how healthy Rob really would be to fill in?
I think it's a unique circumstance because he's so experienced, Jordan. You're certainly, and like I said, I've got a lot of confidence in Warren and some reps that he's gotten in Rob's absence, the improvement, the maturity, the growth. And so we'll see. But I think it wouldn't be a situation that you would even look into if it wasn't from an experienced player. Ultimately we'll talk to him, and the doctors end up really, dictating, what the right approach is. But very confident, like I mentioned, in Warren, if that's the case.
Jared and Brandon used to be their first to get action. How do you evaluate just statistics on
It's just production, snap in and snap out. I think I want these guys to enjoy it, but I think really for our team as a whole, peak at the right time. Guys are excited. It's going to be a long wait until Sunday night at whatever 8:25 or whatever it is on the East Coast. But I want these guys to just play the way that they're capable of, Adam. I want them to play within themselves, understand where their play ops arise within the different calls and what the offense presents. But certainly, and I think you guys know this, I don't look at stats at all really in terms of what production is. It's all right, what's your responsibility within each given play? I think the beauty of football is each play has its own individual story behind it. And a guy could make a great play, but it ends up being statistically where, hey, I funnel it, I set an edge back, but now here comes Kobe Turner funneling down the line of scrimmage. He ends up being able to cap it off. But looking for just consistency and those guys just playing their game, snap in and snap out, and enjoying the moment.
With the officiating emphasis on illegal formation penalties, especially with what we saw last night in the Chiefs-Ravens game, is that something you talk to the team about?
It will be. You talk to the league about that stuff, Stu. Really understand that is something in terms of just that alignment of that tackle, with regards to where he is located near the center. That's something that's a big point of emphasis that they've made. want to make sure that we have clarity so that we're coaching it up the right way so you can avoid some of those things.
Sean,
Couple more,
Chris
guys.
Shula said that it was going to be a kind of a process of deciding who's going to ultimately wear the dot for you guys on defense. Have you made a decision there?
We have.
And who is it?
I'll share with you guys after the game.
Use my binoculars to look.
There you go. You'll find out quickly. You know, you're on that stuff, but a lot of capable candidates, like Chris said, I'm sure too, huh?
So I know you guys.
I know that's annoying. I'm sorry.
And I know you haven't played a game yet, but how would you describe the mental makeup of your ball club?
So far, you know, here's what I think. I think there's been a lot of things that we've really talked about: the mental and the physical toughness. I think ultimately you really find out once you go on these journeys. I'm really excited about this group, but we're going to really find out what people are made of when we experience obstacles and some sort of adversity. I want to see us interact and respond the way that I believe that our guys are capable of doing, and that's, you know, being your best regardless of the circumstances. And so I want to see these guys I want to see consistent progression. I want to see loving the opportunities that this league presents in regards to what our opening game presents. I want to see us have a great day of preparation today, but I do think that we've really been intentional, Dennis, about trying to identify our kinds of guys that you want to onboard, whether that's free agency, the draft. I think we've got leaders in-house that influence and affect positive change with those kinds of guys. That's the type of people that we want to add to our coaching staff. And I think the more that you get like that, you know, you become the company you keep while still having individual personalities that make up the whole special. And that's what I'm hoping this group is. That's what I think it has been up to this point. And then ultimately, there's a lot of clarity that will continue to come as we have these learning opportunities and moments.
Last two guys.
Just correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong, but since COVID changed the way you guys travel and stuff, it doesn't seem like you had a whole lot of these situations where you had to wait. You get to a city and you had to wait till the evening to play.
Yeah, other than the very last game we played against these guys, right? But no, but you're right, though.
So how does that? How have you adjusted?
Yeah,
to that?
you have to. Here's the thing: what we did learn in COVID, to your point, Gary, is that you can travel the very day before. The games that I like the most, honestly, are the early kickoffs on East Coast. You get there, you have a snack, your preparation's done, you get up and you roll. The good thing is that there'll be games on. Guys can kind of sit around and watch it, and then you go over to the stadium 4 hours before kickoff. But I personally, the players are the most important thing. I think they'd be the best equipped to answer it. But when I first got here, we used to travel for these changes in time zones 2 days in advance, and then you listen to the players' feedback. You learn just based on, you know, what you were allowed to do during COVID, and you're saying, you know what, if you're ready to go when the game kicks off, you're going to be ready to go. You know, you don't really adjust your circadian rhythm unless you have a few weeks, different things like that. And hey, let's be ready to go. And there's a lot of different stats. Here's what I really think: the team that plays better in the 3-hour window wins the game. You know, the team that does the things that are necessary most consistently, usually they come away with the result. We look into a lot of different things, and everything's important to try to be intentional about it. But what we have learned, I think, the most important is our players staying in their normal rhythm and routine on Fridays, being able to get their normal, you know, some of these guys have, you know, specific body work, just getting to be around their family, spend another night in their own bed, and then you leave as late as possible, and you're spending as little time as possible in the new venue, because we're going there to be able to try to get our work in and then get back home and then start it on another challenge the following week usually.
You've joked a couple of times about Matthew, like, oh, you know, maybe he needs something to work through, maybe you should punch him in the gut, you know, kind of thing. He laughs about it, says, oh, I disagree, but you can see it kind of when he clicks in.
But do you believe that he disagrees?
I don't believe that he disagrees, but you can see it when he kind of clicks into that extra layer. Do you remember when you saw that in person, up close, for the first time?
I think I saw, you know, I mean, really the first time you get out on the field, when he was just really, you know, it was important to earn the respect of his teammates in an OTA setting. And I think when you look at all these great competitors, there's an internal dialogue that exists that gives them their edge. And when you're able to do it as long as he's done it at such a high level, they're the only ones that are equipped to answer it. But I know what I've observed from afar from the really special ones, they have that. You look at even some of the documentaries on those special players that have done it, even, you know, in football or in different sports. There's an internal narrative, there's a dialogue, there's a challenge that sometimes they create, sometimes it's real, sometimes it's not. But that's part of what makes them special, and they're only equipped to answer it. But if he tells you he's not, I say he's lying.
But I mean, as a competitor yourself, you do have experience of, you know, sometimes comfort within chaos. Not that it becomes a happy place, for example, but a place of clarity and problem solving. Have you guys ever talked about that?
I mean, in our own way, I think, the biggest thing with him is like modeling the way, seeing better than you hear. And I see him model exactly what you're looking for. I see him relish the challenges. I think if you really do have a growth mindset, you love the opportunities for these challenges that this game or professional sports creates, because that's really where the only growth occurs. And I think the people that are able to do it, that have the mental stamina, the fortitude, the competitive stamina, there's got to be something that you love those ops instead of being overwhelmed by them. And I think that's where people really separate themselves. And I do believe that's why Matthew is one of those people that fit in that, that really special criteria. Okay? Thanks, guys.